Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Come on in here and sit down with me. Open your Bible up. If you need something hot or cold to drink, if you want to share with me while we're having this little Bible study, come on and get that right now. And if you have your Bible, now good time to open it up. If you don't, I'll be glad to read for us today. We're in Psalm 119. We're going to be looking today at verse 41, but all this week we're in the Vav section, which is 41 through 48. Now remember, this entire psalm is an acrostic, but it's huge. 172 verses, 174 verses long, 176 verses. Each set of 8 verses follows one of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Therefore, it's an acrostic. Today we come to the 6th letter. This is the Vav, sometimes pronounced Wa, but that's wrong. It's Vav. It's the V sound. This little letter has very, very few words that begin with it. It's very few. It's a handful. But the power of this little letter is that it serves in the Hebrew language as a conjunction, as a consecutive, and as a voluntative. So it's very, very powerful in the sense that it has so many different meanings and so many different ways you can translate it. However, it is driven by context. Sometimes it's a conjunction, sometimes it's a consecutive, and sometimes it's translated so that, or then, or therefore. Just depends on the context of the passage. The word Vav, it is a Hebrew word, and it means tent peg. And it's only used of the tent pegs made for the tabernacle. You never see it used in any other way. That word, Vav, is beautiful because, the tent pegs were made of gold and silver and so forth. They were very important in holding up the tabernacle, and without the tent pegs, you wouldn't have had a tabernacle. And so with this little letter Vav, without it, you really don't have a Hebrew language because you have to have these little conjunctions and consecutives doing their job for the language to flow correctly. And sometimes it's a little artistry in translating it. Sometimes it's creativity. I remember I had a professor in school, and he used to say, he would yell at us, do not translate this just and. It's more than that. Be creative when you translate the Vav. Read the context. Use it as a marker, as a sign that you're to be creative right here with your language, because it gets boring if it's just and then, and he, and us, and it, or, whatever, and the verb. Be creative with it. Look at the context. Let it decide and determine how you're going to translate this little letter. So let me read verse 41. Then your mercy will come to me, O Lord, your salvation according to your word. Now, the golden tent peg of Vav holds in place the idea of mercy. This whole section here, this octenary, 41 through 48, the prime word here is love. And we're going to see love a couple of times, but we're going to see a lot of other words that support that. And here's the very first one, mercy. God's love is expressed through his mercy. Then your mercy will come to me, O Lord, your salvation according to your word. This just reminded me, and let me turn over here in my Bible to Ephesians chapter 2, because here in Ephesians chapter 2 we have this great expression that the apostle gives us. When he's talking about our condition, he has quickened us who were dead in trespasses and sins, where in time past you walked. And then we come to verse 4, and he says, but God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherewith he loved us. Well, here it is again in the Psalms, in Psalm 119, this idea of God's richness of mercy. Your mercy will come to me, O Lord, your salvation according to your word. And God's salvation does come to us, doesn't it? According to his mercy, according to his word, Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a fine letter. We're going to have a good time this week as we pursue this through verse 48. Join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 42 and 43 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.